हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आज हम जा रहे हैं शिकागो। इधर सेंट लुइस से शिकागो तकरीबन 4 और 30 मिनट्स की ड्राइव है और हम आपको सैर कराएंगे सेंट लुइस से शिकागो की, और फिर शिकागो में हम उधर एक क्रूज़ ट्रिप है वो करेंगे। अच्छा, सेंट लुइस की जो सबसे एक आइकॉनिक प्लेस है वो ये आर्क है जो इस बिल्डिंग के पीछे है। कल हम उधर गए थे, उसकी कुछ तस्वीरें वगैरह ली हैं। ये बेसिकली ये कुछ इसकी जो फेमस जो बिल्डिंग्स हैं वो यही हैं। इट्स काइंड ऑफ ए डाउनटाउन। इनकी शहर के अंदर रोडें जो हैं इनकी ऐसी ही हैं जैसे पाकिस्तान की रोडें होती हैं। अब बाहर ये निकले हैं, थोड़ी रोड अच्छी मिली है। और जब से हम निकले हैं इधर ये कॉर्न फील्ड ही नहीं ख़त्म हुई, बड़ी बड़ी कॉर्न फील्ड। टो ट्रक मोटर
नहीं, पहला चीज मुझे तो नीचे गिर रहा ट्रक। हाँ। No, I was changing mine into a submarine.
In 400 meters, keep left to stay on I-90 West, I-94 West.
तो गाड़ियाँ इंडिकेटर भी नहीं देती हैं, दिल करे इधर आ जाती हैं मेरे से।
Keep left to stay on I-90 West.
इसके रहने तो जिद्दा से भी डिफिकल्ट नहीं है।
Continue on I-90 West for 1.5 kilometers.
है रात 5 किलोमीटर ही है वैसे।
भाई बल्लर टाइप सिटी है।
ये बेटा न्यूयॉर्क टाइप सिटी है, डबलिन, लेकिन वो बिग स्केल में ज़रा।
भाई डबल की बिल्डिंग सब भी हैं।
हाँ, ये न्यूयॉर्क टाइप। ओए, सीधा है बिल्कुल। कैसीनो है
हाँ, वो देखिए नीचे,
किधर?
ये नीचे लिखा है। किसी ने आई थिंक में भी कन्वर्ट हुआ है, ये पहले मस्जिद बनी हुई।
अभी हम जा रहे हैं रूट 66 पे। ये क्या टॉलेस्ट बिल्डिंग है?
इन नॉर्थ अमेरिका 6 tallest बिल्डिंग।
ये पहली बिल्डिंग कार्बाइड एंड कार्बन है से बनी। ये मिलेनियम पार्क है। हाँ जी, ये है जहाँ से रूट 66 शुरू होता है और वो सामने लिखा हुआ है। ये जी है, ये है जहाँ से ये सारी स्कीम शुरू होती है, रूट 66 की। ये एक बिल्डिंग है शिकागो डाउनटाउन एरिया में। इसकी जो इंटीरियर है इट्स वेरी ब्यूटीफुल। किधर? ये आ गई है बोट जिस पे हम लोगों ने जाना है। अभी ये जो पहले वाले पैसेंजर हैं उनको ऑफलोड करेगी। ट्रम्प साहब ने वावा टावर बनाया हुआ है। ये जी बोट इज़ रेडी। हमें अब इस रिवर का चक्कर लगाएंगे और देखेंगे कि कौन कौन सी बड़ी बड़ी बिल्डिंग्स हैं लेफ्ट एंड राइट।
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. First of all, in the unlikely event we have to vacate the boat, there are 8 emergency exits. You entered on one directly across, 2 below those, 4 in the back, 2 in the top and 2 in the bottom. Life vests are located in the box behind me here. The boxes behind you in the upper level, also in the lower level, the front and back boxes. A uniformed crew member will help you put those on.
You see, in the night of October 8th in the year 1871, we had the devastating Great Chicago Fire. This fire burned about 66% of our city at the time to the ground. 17,000 buildings were completely destroyed. 100,000 people lost their homes. More than 250 people lost their lives. It was a tragedy. But it did provide Chicago a blank slate, and with it we gained an opportunity to rebuild it bigger and better than ever, and we did just that. Got the help that we needed from 3 very important inventions. The first one was Elisha Otis's safety elevator. I'm sure most of us are really familiar with this invention. Cities now went up. Second invention was the Bessemer process for rolling out steel, and I know we are all very familiar with the Bessemer process for rolling out steel. Yeah, it's a joke. I know you guys don't know what that is. Does anybody out there actually know what it is? No? Okay, well, it's a shot in the dark. Sometimes, every once in a while. My first 2 tours had 2 or 3 people that knew each. Weird. I don't know what it is. Anyway, for those of us that are unfamiliar, the Bessemer process was primarily a refinement process. The goal was to refine steel as a product, eventually leading to it being mass-produced. It's how it became a popular building material. The third invention surrounds you today. It was the invention of the modern-day steel grid skyscraper born here in Chicago in 1884, designed by William LeBaron Jenney, an engineer and an architect in our city. Story goes he watched his wife place a large book on top of a steel bird cage. Notice the cage did not collapse beneath the weight of the book. Instead of cages are that strong. The Glass Pavilion is the Apple Store, designed by Sir Norman Foster, the same gentleman who designed the iconic Gherkin Bullet Building in London. The Apple Store's design is designed to re-embrace the visuals of the Chicago River. Today you guys can go through there, thousands of square feet of retail space, buy a top-of-the-line Apple product, step out, and then drop it in the river on the same day. Inside, the 2 brown structures here are the Hyatt Regency. 2,019 rooms makes this the largest hotel in the city of Chicago. The 2 separate buildings are only connected by 1 underground passageway. Beyond that, the tall, dark white structure with the tall, dark vertical windows is the Aon Center. Aon Center opened up in the mid-1970s as the 4th tallest tower in our city. 1,136 feet tall. It beats out the John Hancock by only 8 feet in height. Up next on the right-hand side, you guys will see a dark gray building with the name James Hardy up on top. Ignore it. I'll keep it right behind it. You're going to see the wave-like undulating white patios of Aqua. Aqua back there opened up in 2009, designed by Chicago architect Jeannie Gang. Aqua gave her the title for the most beautiful residential tower in the world in 2009, as well as the title for the tallest tower in the world designed by a female architect, a title that the building today will all hold. The wavy patios are a water motif designed to look like gently rolling waves out of Lake Michigan. Due to their organic design, not a single patio is the same size or the same shape. The building's curved facade houses the Radisson Blu Hotel, floors for amenities, and of course, luxury condominium. With one of those condos at one time being occupied by Lady Gaga while she had an extended stay in the city of Chicago. Thank you. She went, that's what I'm hoping. And we have the St. Regis, famous for the 3-step towers and the 8 shades of turquoise blue glass, designed to accentuate its undulating wave-like corners. They have that texture whether you look at them from the north, south, east, or the west. And the architect here is Jeannie Gang. who with the St. Regis is now reclaiming her title for the tallest tower in the world designed by a female architect, but this time she's raising that bar to a 4-digit imperial number. The skyscraper clocks in at 1,198 feet tall. It is also the 3rd tallest tower in our city. These 101 floors are mixed use in design with retail space, parking garage, the namesake that is the ultra-luxurious St. Regis Hotel. They do have floors for amenities and, of course, luxury condos. The most expensive of which are in the top of that 3rd tower, with the exception of the 83rd and the 84th floor left open, creating what is called a blow-through. Wind passes through those floors as opposed to being forced onto either end. The floors beneath it and above it are full-floor penthouses, those rather gingerly, into the Chicago River, chemical waste in the river, industrial solvents in the river, jury summons. I'm not showing up to it. It's so freaking boring. I went to one and I said never again. Throw it in the river. Got so packed with trash that during the Great Chicago Fire, the city burned and the river burned right along with it. So packed with chemicals that on a hot day like today, sometimes the river just burst into flames of its own accord. Quoted to have done that twice. The river was so packed with trash that there was a photographic evidence, multiple eyewitness accounts that saw a chicken get from one end to the other end of our river without sinking. Because it was so densely packed with garbage, a thick layer of crust developed on top. What made the scene worse was at the time the river flowed in the same direction our boat is going now. It went out to Lake Michigan. So what happened to that toxic water once it hit Lake Michigan? By then it was too late. We had no choice. We pumped it back into our city, and we drank that water. And along with it, you had a 1 in 10 chance you were gonna die. This became a problem. What did we do? Well, in the good old American tradition, we took our problem and we made it somebody else's problem. But how? Well, the Chicago River is on the east side of the Continental Divide. It flows east. The west end of that divide is the Des Plaines River flowing west. We decided to connect them. South end of our river, we dug down 37 feet. We dug that for 27 miles. We moved more dirt than the Panama Canal. On the night of January 2nd, in the year 1900, in the dead of night, we blew open those dams, opening up the sanitary and shipping canal, thusly and effectively reversing the flow for the Chicago River. The water, trash, garbage, disease produced by our city went through the canal, into the Des Plaines River, into the Illinois River, into the mighty Mississippi, and then got dumped out into the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. Chicago rejoiced. And then St. Louis sued. St. Louis, Missouri, on the Mississippi River, said, Chicago, the water you are sending us is gray. It smells like a dead animal, and it's going to freaking kill us. That trial was held in Chicago. Guess who won? Chicago. Demand process, no set schedule, and free to pass through. Named Municipal Pier because its use was municipal, meaning it serviced our city. Imports, exports, passenger boats came to and from Chicago. We have an ordinance that passed in 1973, officially creating private property east of Lakeshore Drive. That building was basically only for about 5 years. Found a building that used to be a railroad. The public was already privately owned property. The tower never removed public property from the public. Up next to me, right behind the plot of land here, tall beige building is One Bennett Park, 2018, Robert A.M. Stern, designed to pay homage to the Art Deco stylings of the 20s and 30s. Fully residential in use, with the top 3 floors being 3 full-floor penthouses. And the most affordable hit the market in 2018 for $14 million. You wanna know what that would get you? Concrete and a view. You spend $14 million for the raw, unlivable space. You then spend an additional $3 to $10 million to build it out, to customize it. The turn of Penfield and Associates, early 2000s, Riverview 1, Riverview 2. The heaviest and harshest criticism that this building has gotten has actually been from other architects who say, quote, too many colors. The building is lined with beautiful townhomes, each of them 4 stories tall with their own private rooftop deck and their own private elevators. Above that is a floor for amenities. Above that, luxury condos. And on top of Riverview 2, right where that balcony up there kind of sticks out, that is one of their penthouses. It is fully built out. It first hit the market about 3 years ago for $14 million, where it did not sell. Took it off the market. Put it back on the market for $8.9 million, where it did not sell. Took it back off the market, put it back on the market for $7 million, and it finally sold for $6.8 million, less than half of that original price tag. What would that get me, John? 9,300 square feet on 2 floors, with only 3 bedrooms, each with their own private ensuite bathroom and their own private balconies. 3 500-gallon saltwater fish tanks. 40 pounds of a bright orange powdered vegetable dye goes into our river. It is all designed organically to not that. The short 6-story stone and glass facade building is the downtown campus for the University of Chicago, Bleacher Center, Dirk Lohan, 1990. He put into the building 27 classrooms. They are all here in the back, and notice they don't have windows. He caught a lot of heat for that. They said, "Hey Dirk, what's your freaking damage? Don't you want to take in the beautiful views of the city?" Off and you're right behind the Apple Store, the iconic Tribune Tower. Tribune Tower is a result of a competition. They won the most beautiful office tower in the world. The winner was Hood and Howells and their neo-Gothic design. The top is modeled after a couple of the we have home sweet home for them that'll boast their Wrigley Building, 1919 and 1924. The clock tower is modeled after the Igualda Tower in Sevilla, Spain. The building has 6 shades of light glazed terracotta providing fireproofing to it. This was the very first made contact who came to Chicago in 1930, fleeing the rise of the Nazi Party, bringing with him this style of architecture, today known as the International Style, famous for its simplicity. Notice little to no ornamentation. This reflects Mies van der Rohe's personal less is more philosophy. A philosophy he taught at the Illinois Institute of Technology. A philosophy that some of his students, like Bruce Graham, were heavily influenced by. A philosophy, though, that others didn't agree with. One that strongly disagreed with Bertrand Goldberg, and Bertrand Goldberg built next door. He believed that since there are no right angles in nature, there will be no right angles in his architecture. This is Marina City, or the corn cobs of the Midwest, if you will. They are famous for the 2 60-story cylindrical towers, which together have 896 pizza-shaped apartments, referring to them starting out narrow and widening as you walk into them. Marina City opened up in the mid-60s at a time when most people did not live downtown. The concept of designing a city in a city, designed to accommodate everything you guys needed to live downtown at the time. The Corn Cobs opened up with your apartment, parking garage, boat marina, restaurant, grocery store, bowling alley, 10-story office building, health club, a radio station, bank, and even a theater, now called the House of Blues. Your entire life could almost fully take place in that one city block. Up next on your right-hand side, the Reed Murdoch Center, 1914 by George Nimmons, original red brick masonry and terracotta ornamentation. 6 bays of windows to the right-hand side of the clock tower, with 5 to the left. First designed and built symmetrically with 6 and 6, the left-hand side had one of its bays removed. Up next on your right, 300 North of South, Picard and Chilton, 2009. The glass tower stands 784 feet tall, and it is LEED certified platinum. Now, LEED stands for Leadership in Environmental and Energy Design. It is a point system we use to measure the green standard of buildings, and platinum is the highest certificate. Up next on your right, you guys are correct in your first assumptions. This building is big. This is the Merchandise Mart, 1931, Graham Anderson, Probst & White. Great example of Art Deco. 4 elements of Art Deco present here include the Indiana limestone facade, strong vertical orientation, setbacks near the top, and geometric shapes throughout. When this building opened up in 1931 at 4.1 million square feet, this was the largest concrete structure in the world. The Hoover Dam has less concrete in it than this building. Off on your right, the Upside Down building, 150 North Riverside Plaza, has a footprint only 40 feet wide due to river restrictions on the east and 7 active railroad tracks in the west. The firm Gouch and Partners took up the full plot with a concrete core. Think of this like the backbone to the structure. It goes from the ground to the top. They then, as you guys can see, cantilevered on over their plot of land, the largest steel I-beams they could find. And they were, of course, Belgian, that's right. They then built skyward, wide top and narrow base balancing. To assist with that, they have implemented a mass damper system that is 160,000 gallons of water sitting in 4 tanks on top of the building. The wind pushes it to the west, the water moves to the east and vice versa, keeping it completely stable. The same firm, Gouch and Partners, just completed Bank of America Tower off on the left-hand side, pocket-sized park, Riverwalk, subterranean cafe, cantilever in action, several balconies, and of course a zigzag facade. All elements are designed to take in the beautiful river location views. Okay, Whiplash, right-hand side. 1990, Perkins and Will, 100 North Riverside Plaza. The 13-story portion of the back end here is built over active switching tracks, and due to the crisscrossing train lines, could only be anchored into the ground riverside. The far end is supported from above. Take a quick glance behind you. Take a look on top of that 13-story portion. You will see up there a large white bridge-like structure called a truss. There are 5 of them up there. The far end of that building is quite literally hanging from those 5 trusses, as they are only anchored into the ground riverside. Think of it built like the letter P. Off in your immediate right, we have 2 North Riverside Plaza, Halliburton Route, 1920s. Very first public plaza ever built in Chicago. First building built over the active railroad tracks beneath. The Art Deco structure itself used to house Chicago Daily News offices up until 1974, when they officially and permanently closed their doors. But I'm sure we're all vividly aware. The neighborhood here is known as the West Loop. Right now, the West Loop is the fastest growing neighborhood in our city. But it wasn't always. Back in the 1950s, it looked mostly like this. It was train tracks. So expansion westward became difficult. It began the 4-part Gateway Initiative with the intention to open up the west side to further development. It began with the completion of Gateway 1 in 1965 and over the bridge Gateway 2 1967. Gateway 1 and 2 are 2 twin, 22-story structures. They are done in the international style of design, made famous in the nation by Ludwig von Mies van der Rohe. The architect here was not Mies van der Rohe himself, but was rather one of his students. The mentor was heavily influenced Bruce Graham. Bruce Graham would later go on to design both the former John Hancock as well as the Willis Tower. Now, off on your right at eye level, you guys can see I am not making this stuff up. These are active railroad tracks. What you guys are looking at off on your right-hand side at eye level is technically called a choo-choo train. It is specifically, though, Amtrak train, I believe. Amtrak is a train service doing its best to service the U.S. as a nation. But we do also have Metro trains servicing Chicago's suburbs in all directions, coming into Union Station beneath these buildings. And I know what you guys... The white building here, home to Fifth Third Bank, now called Fifth Third Center. This is Gateway 3. The green glass building down there with the curved facade is Gateway 4. Between them with the X-bracing is a fitness formula club next door to a donut shop. It's a business plan, guys. They're both doing very well. The Willis Tower. This was 1974, folks. You'd be looking at the tallest tower in the world, and I would be in bell-bottom pants. Take note of how the building is designed. They call this bundled tubular design. What makes up the Willis Tower is 9 75 by 75 foot boxes, all squared off. And as these boxes rise out of the ground, they stop at different floors, making the Willis Tower very strong, but not inflexible. On a windy day, it has been known to sway. Because it used to be the Sears Tower. Chicagoans have famously not been happy about the famous renaming because it used to be the Sears Tower. Chicagoans have famously not been happy about the famous renaming. Right-hand side, the unusual cage-like facade for Hartford Plaza, designed to be energy efficient with these 4-foot overhanging eaves that produces more shade on a sunny summer day like today. Cutting down News Center, 1987, Fujikawa and Johnson. 2 40-story towers, and between them, what used to be 2 trading floors. Now, being trading floors, they are not supported internally. Interior space was left open, column trees that got to see across the room and signals telling you what to buy, sell, and trade stock. You are supported externally, in this case, largely by the towers on either end. When you look at the towers, you will get on staff. All of them do. You find one on your plot of land, you do not tear it down, you build around it. Next on your right, one of my personal favorites, the Civic Opera Building in 1929, Graham Anderson Probst in white, French Renaissance ornamentation, beautiful Art Deco lobby. On the other side of this 10-story wall is their over 3,500 seat auditorium, making them the second largest opera auditorium in the U.S. Number one is, of course, the Metropolitan New York City. Take a look at it, you'll see Civic Opera Building. It's using the V and not a U because it's using the Roman alphabet. Now look further up it. You'll notice that it looks like a chair. They call it Infold Throne. It is a centerpiece of my favorite urban legend of Chicago. The tale, Samuel Lindsay. I'd like to begin with 3 fun facts. Fun fact number 1, Samuel Lindsay was a real person. Number 2, freaking rich. He owned all the utilities in our city at the time. And number 3, he put up $18 million in the 1920s to help them build that building. The majority of his wealth at the time. He said, I would do you one better. And he built a stage. The urban legend says that the building opened up in 1929 and the first person to sing was her. She steps onto stage, she sings her first song, and guess what? A miracle happened. Chicago and New York agreed. She was god-awful. We too booed her off the stage, and 2 weeks later the stock market crashed. Turns out it was due to her singing. And this is kind of where the tall tale ends, because after the stock market crash, Samuel Lindsay did indeed go belly up, losing his wealth, power, and status. Both his wife and mistress left him, and on more than one occasion he was sued, eventually into financial ruin, which resulted in him fleeing the country in shame, dying in the subways of Paris with less than $1 in his pocket. The only thing left of that great wealth he had is Info's Throne, a building they say is designed to look like a chair, so its back could face New York. Because according to the urban legend, New York turned its back on its mistress. It's my favorite urban legend. Almost everybody does. Up next on the right-hand side, the green glass curved facade of 333 West Wacker Drive, Cohn, Pedersen, and Fox, 1983. A great example of contextualism. Contextualism is a big fancy word that means design of architecture coming in here. First, the Art Deco LaSalle Wacker building. The severe setback in the center there allows for more window space. You'd open up all those windows on a sunny summer day in a desperate attempt to catch a breeze. But that was the only way you pulled off that building before air conditioning. Next door, 111 West Wacker Drive has a cutout in the glass facade called a reveal, designed to allow for more outdoor space on the higher floors, taking things like shared amenity levels and putting them higher up into the air to get a better view and a lot more. Up next on the right, one of my personal favorites, 77 West Wacker Drive by Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill. Spanish Catalonian architect Ricardo Bofill. This is postmodernism. Postmodernism mixed the old with the new. The old in this case is the element of stone. The Romanesque arches on the base and up on top the Greek-like temple and pediment. New elements include steel, glass, and of course, the height. Next door is 55 West Wacker Drive. This is not an 35 West Wacker Drive won a lot of awards for the modern design of columns in a column. The metal pieces between the windows are called mullions. They are designed to reflect natural sunlight deeper into the building to brighten up its interior space. Today it is partially being occupied by the Veterans Memorial Community of Illinois. It is being watched over by the 1926 French Post Art Jewelers Building. The big temple up on top there is called the Belvedere. The 1920s was a speakeasy called Stratosphere Lounge, frequented by Al Capone. To the left of that, you will see a green building with a golden top that is 24 karat gold, 1/5000th of an inch thick. So just like me, it's a long thing. That is a carbide and carbon building, designed to make it look like a champagne bottle as it was a protest against prohibition. First completed to be office space, best known in our history for being the Hard Rock Hotel, today under new management being called the Pension. Off on the right-hand side, the skinny white skyscraper here is now the tower. Mather Tower opened up in the late 1920s. It was neo-Gothic in design. When it opened up, this was the tallest tower in Chicago, a title it held on to for 2 weeks. The building was also originally designed with 4 additional floors. The top 4 floors were deemed structurally unsound. They were fully removed and never replaced. They simply recapped the building, which is why today, the top of Mather Tower does not match the color of the rest of it. There's nearly 8 decades between the two. Next door is the London House Hotel, a beautiful hotel owned and operated by Hilton, named for the London House Jazz Club, originally found on the ground floor of the London Guarantee and Accident Building here on the corner of Alfred F. Auschuler, 1923. Also marking the spot for our very first fort, Fort Dearborn, 1803. You guys actually had
इसकी ये जैक निकाल दो अभी रास्ते में बड़ी तेज़ बारिश और शदीद तूफ़ान आ गए, इसलिए थोड़ी सी जो है वो हमने गाड़ी रोकी है रास्ते में। तो बारिश के बाद सूरत हाल
मदीना का नहीं लगता है
कितने
ऐसे ही वो पीछे गाड़ी लगी
कौन जी खलोती हैं
रोड बन
कॉन्ट्रैक्टर
रहा है
Welcome to Missouri.
हाँ ठीक है